Begin at the foot of Cockburn Street, where the Waverley Station breathes its last sigh beneath the city, and the street rises like a question mark drawn in stone. This is where the city's pulse is lowest, the rumble of trains beneath your feet, the hiss of brakes, the distant announcement swallowed by concrete. But above you the street climbs narrow and expectant, and you feel the tug of it in your chest. Walk with me now, where the streets curve and narrows, where every step is a courtship with time. The buildings lean in close as if to kiss, their chimneys tracing charcoal lines against a pale grey sky. A busker's fiddle spills down the slope, a melody that catches in your chest and stays there beating like a second heart. The buildings on either side rise like cliffs of sandstone and slate, their windows blinking amber in the late light. The street curves and curves again, and then you cannot see its end. That is the magic of Cockburn Street. It refuses to reveal itself. It winds like a courtship, holding back its best secrets until you have earned them. You emerge as if surfacing from water. The narrow throat of Cockburn Street releases you onto the broader shoulders of the Royal Mile, and the world expands in a single staggering breath. The Tron Kirk stands there, its truncated spire dark against the sky. The Royal Mile stretches both ways, downhill towards Holyrood and the palace, uphill towards the castle. You turn right. There was never any doubt the hill is steeper here. The air is brighter. The buildings are grander, 4 and 5 stories of harled stone, their crow-stepped gables cutting into the sky like the teeth of a comb. The street is alive with the sound of a busker strumming a guitar somewhere ahead. The rumble of a tour bus, the chatter of languages from every corner of the earth. But you hear something else, beneath the noise, a hum, a vibration, the city's old song playing just below the frequency of the modern world. You approach St Giles Cathedral from the east. Its crown spire appears first, that delicate, impossible structure of flying buttresses and open stonework, lit now by the low sun so that it seems to burn from within. The building grows as you near, its presence pressing against your chest. You pass the heart of Midlothian, set into the cobbles, that mosaic of stones marking where the old toll booth once stood. A man in a flat cap spits on it, tradition or superstition or both. You step around it because your path is towards the spire, not the prison. The west front of St Giles rises before you, its great window a kaleidoscope of stained glass gone dark with the evening. The door is open, a sliver of golden light, the murmur of a choir practicing, voices rising and falling like the tide. You pause at the threshold just for a moment. The air inside smells of old wood, candle wax, and something floral. A few steps beyond St Giles, a sign hangs from an iron bracket, Mary King's Close. Beneath it, a narrow stair descends into darkness. The close was sealed, they say, during the plague. A whole street of houses bricked up and forgotten, their inhabitants dead or fled. It lies beneath the Royal Mile, a buried city of shadows and silence. What did they hear, you wonder, in their last nights? The footsteps of the living directly above their sealed tombs, the bells of St Giles ringing out the hours they could no longer count. You shiver, not unpleasantly. Edinburgh is not a city that forgets its dead. It carries them with it, like a lover who still speaks to the absent. The mile is rich now with light and life. On your left a whisky shop glows like a jewel box. Row upon row of amber bottles, their labels telling the story of every glen and island in Scotland. A man in a kilt stands in the doorway offering a taste from a crystal dram. You smile, shake your head and keep walking. A cafe on your right spills people onto the pavement. Mismatched chairs, wool coats draped over railings, the steam of flat whites rising in the cool air. A woman laughs at something her companion has said, her head thrown back, her hair catching the light like copper wire. You feel a pang of something, envy, perhaps a recognition. Love is everywhere in this city, it seeps from the stone. The Albanach pub appears, its windows steamed and warm, the sound of folk session leaking through the walls. A fiddle, a whistle, a voice roughened by whisky and joy. You pause at the window, inside someone is singing The Banks of the Roses. The tune is old, older than anyone in the room, and it wraps around you like a hand on your shoulder. You could go in, you could sit by the fire, order a pint, let the evening dissolve into music and conversation. But the castle is still ahead, you are not finished climbing. The streets narrow again, and then you see it. Tucked against the side of the castle esplanade like a secret kept too long, the witchery. It is not a large building, it does not need to be. Its dark stone walls are covered in creeping ivy, its windows are small and deeply set, and its door, heavy oak, branded with iron, seems to belong to another century entirely. A single lantern burns above it, casting a pool of amber light onto the cobbles. The witchery is Edinburgh at its most Gothic, its most romantic. It is the city's dark heart given form, a place where you might dine on venison and wild mushrooms while the ghosts of witches and lords drift through the rafters. The smell of wood smoke and rich sauce drifts from its chimneys. The esplanade opens before you like a stage, a vast cobbled apron spread at the feet of the castle. The fortress rises above it, impossibly steep, its walls merging with the volcanic rock on which they stand. The sky behind it is the deep blue of a bruise healing, scattered with the first stars. The flag on the battlements has gone still, the cannons are silent, the tourists have dispersed, and the esplanade is nearly empty. Just you, a few others, and the vast presence of the castle watching over it all. You walk to the centre of the esplanade and stop. You stand in the centre of the world, and for a moment, just a moment, you belong to it completely.